Okay. Oh my gosh, I see a D. D, that must be Deborah. Debbie. Okay, how many people are we here?
10 or so.
Okay. All that work for 10 people. Well, I know it's going to be
it'll be recorded.
I know it's going to be recorded, but do I take that away, Chris, right here? Look at that. But you know what? Those 10 people, they are the best.
I think I made myself go away.
Can I click on that?
No, you're there, Deb.
Am I here?
Yeah, you're Deb.
Okay, thank you. I would like to be here.
So,
Hi.
Connor, that's all the people that I have right here?
At the moment, yeah.
At the
It's
moment.
growing.
Okay.
It's 12.
Oh, but you're going to be the one to say admit when you say admit right there?
Yeah.
So you are the one, so people are just...
Yeah, you don't have to worry about anything. Let me know if you want a video shown.
Oh no,
I'll share it.
so talking.
Yeah.
You're
Oh, I'm
13.
talking like...
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, just let me know you want a
Yeah.
video, and I'll pull one up and
Yeah.
it'll go on the screen.
Yeah.
Salut Alain.
Shall we start? I mean, Dr. Corsi, okay. Do I know about everybody?
Go ahead and
We have
start.
Josh,
Josh, are you in
Josh.
Hawaii?
okay.
Hi, guys. Good to see you.
You been surfing this morning or
Kyle,
what?
Debbie, Bert, Derek, yep.
Not today, but I'll be out
Tiger,
tomorrow.
Mary, and
Nice costume, Nilo. You an Oregon Duck fan or what?
You know, I wouldn't call this a costume. This is pretty much our daily attire.
Nice. I like it.
He's a duck.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Headphones included.
That's awesome.
I have to say, I'm missing the snow. It's really hot here right now. And I'd rather be in the cold.
You picked the wrong place for that. What island are you on?
Oahu.
so can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I cannot hear myself, so that's awesome. Wonderful to be in front of a computer. Say it again.
I hear you from Bert's computer. I can't hear you from mine or yours.
Oh yeah, that would be nice for you to hear me, right? Okay. Let me know when I can start. How much time do we have?
Got like an hour.
Like an hour?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be not enough. Because when I'm going to be starting all those ideas, I'm going to go through and read through all my notes, my diligent work for the ski school. Let me know when I'm.
I think we could go.
All right, are we going, guys?
You're going.
Shall we start? What time is it? It is 5:04. Okay. Hi everyone. I hope you had a good winter.
Just be quiet.
That meeting finds you with a lot of snow on the ground, which is a good thing, and it kind of put us in a winter spirit, which is a good thing. So today's meeting, we've been doing that meeting for the last 4 years, and to me, I would like to think that this year is the continuity of what we have built up for the last 3 years. So as you know, in the definition that I have of a turn, you've got those 4 phases. The starting with the transition phase, the preparation phase, the shaping phase, and then the last phase then I would like to approach today is the completing phase. That phase, it has given me a little trouble because it's very important, to complete a turn, and there's so many different ways of doing it. And so I challenge myself in many ways to be able to understand really what that phase is. So to be able to, I decided to, before I can start anything, I'd like to elaborate a little bit onto how can we define what a complete turn is. And I'm going to read a little bit my note also. And so basically what I'm thinking about completing a turn, it's always like a new beginning. So we will keep not using the word finish.
He's such a good guy. So anyway, I gotta round up a couple $1,000.
Did you hand me the compost bucket?
I think it's a different program.
Well, we don't have,
You close it on.
I think I know where that's coming from. I'll call. I think John has his mic on. I'll call him here.
Is that working? Okay. So I'm going to repeat myself because I don't know when we got cut off. So if I was to have a definition onto what is a complete turn, that would be when my ski crosses the fall line. And that's pretty simple, but there's so many, how much are we going to be able to complete that turn? What is the result? Open turn, if it's a nice open turn or if it's a more like an open turn than the fall line. So there is, that it's tough to kind of really put a parameter, onto what is a complete turn. If I was to read some of my notes, a completion turn, that will be when the ski crosses the rise line, the fall lines, is to basically manage our speed, using, if we are on the low level class, steering, or if we are more carving fashion, that's going to have like a higher edge angle and a higher pressure. So I think it's important to kind of define that, because to me a completion is when all the phases are linked together, but then the bottom of it is so important, because some people with some steering, they're going to say, hey, I don't like the speed that I'm going to, and they're going to just put the ski sideways. And we still want to favor rotary, of the legs, foot and legs, and I'm going to go into detail with that, to be able to have some turn shape, maybe climbing up the hill a little bit more, being a little bit more patient, to allow that speed control, that the dominant thinking, then we are dominating that arc, to be able to start the turn with the proper speed, proper balance, to be able to commit to the new turn. To define like a complete turn, it's fairly easy. But now when we bring that into the 4 phases of the turn, you go, okay, well, it's going to be the completing phase of the turn. And that's where, to me, like there's so many different thoughts then goes into my mind, because you are coming out of the fall line with either a high steering or a high degree of edge angle. But during that phase, it's also when you're going to release some of the edges, you're going to stop that steering to be able to present yourself into the new turn. And that's why you cannot really say, well, I'm completing turn just by, exaggerating all the edge angle. But that phase is linked to the transition, led also to the preparation phase. So I feel out of the 4 phases, that's the most intricate phase of the turn. I understand the completion of the turn is also what your intention then you had in the top of the turn. earlier if you're going to finish that turn, if you're going to complete that turn or not, based on the terrain, the speed that you have, or maybe the snow texture. So what I would like to address right now is I'm going to differentiate how to complete a turn with the steering aspect of it on the maybe lower level maneuvers, and more on the carving. So two different fundamentals. So I'm going to start with the skiddy turn. The main fundamental to allow a better completion would be rotation. And that would be for the wedge Christie, basic parallel, low edge angle, lot of rotary. Okay. Now I would like to go a little bit on the how I'm going to be able to rotate, those legs into, below my hip or my pelvic floor. In Taos, we like to think about two legs. We cannot separate the outside foot or leg from the inside foot or leg. So to me, even though at the low level, I want to make sure then we address any rotation from the lower body with the outside foot. And so that would be bringing my outside foot inward and the inside foot and leg outward. So if the outside leg rotates inward, that would be called the adduction, where the hip socket, when the femur is turning around that hip socket, but the outside leg comes inward from the midline of our body. On the inside leg of it, it's going to be a rotation equally to the outside. It has to match, it has to be simultaneous to the outside, but that inside foot and leg and femur going to rotate inside that hip socket, but it's going to be an abduction from that inside leg or foot's going to turn away from the midline of our body. So to me, it's like, okay, let's be very active, but understand how it's coming from. So if and so after that, so I don't know where, I'm going to stay with that turn. So after that, if we want to complete a turn a little bit more, is to allow that femur rotation under that hip socket. But then I want to be lined up with my hip, and that could be a little bit of a controversy, and I just invite you to be able to talk about that. My hip or my pelvis, it's kind of parallel to my feet. So it's my whole lower body is going to be twisting and torquing independently of the upper body. And I think that's a huge point, because at that point I am, based on that maybe analogy, I'm thinking then my lower body is part, my hip and pelvic floor is part of my lower body. And that is up for discussion. And I'm sure some other people may think differently. But that would be, I can, on the snow, I can also demonstrate what I mean by all that. Now, as far as the upper body presentation, on that low level turn, there is a slight counter. And to me, the counter is a big word. It does happen, but I'm thinking that, or I'm visualizing that the counter of the upper body is just on what we want to achieve, with the turn that's going to be presented ahead of us. But I'm thinking that since the pelvic floor is supporting the spine, that spine is rotating around that base of support. So when the lower body is completing that rotation, going, let's say, up the hill, my upper body with the spine rotating in that pelvic floor is looking at the opposite direction of the traveling of my feet. And that's in French, you call that un visage. it's like you are turning one way when the lower body is turning the other way. It can be a gross movement pattern, which is force, and this is not what we want. But we still, just by the eyes can take from the solar plexus. That's even enough sometimes to have that visage, that torque within the body. And I think it's really important to, at the low level, all ongoing to the higher performance turn, to understand that type of torque, that type of anticipation, and that's basically what I want to concentrate this year, as far as the finishing phase, the completion phase of the turn, is to allow. It's so easy to me. You ski short, you ski shape. It's so easy to be so square with the feet, with the hip, and with the shoulder completing the turn. And that eventually can, bring some upper body rotation and rotary in the wrong place, where it should be isolated with the lower body, where the upper body takes over. So that's kind of what, and when I'm talking about it, it's like, oh yeah, why have you spent so much time to talk about a visage or torque when it's kind of easy to understand, but I think a lot tougher to execute. Okay, so that's basically the guideline that I've got with how to address rotation in a completed phase of the turn. Do you want me to go on? It's going to be similar, but with a different fundamental as higher performance skis. Do we want to have a few questions, or do we want to? I don't have too many videos with a wedge turn. I had one good one from the Interski in, I think, Finland, 2023. I had a great one, and for some reason I couldn't find it again. So I was not able to give that to Connor. Maybe I'd like to go in the same fashion with maybe a higher edge angle and a curve turn, and maybe we can have a little pause, we can look some video, and we can maybe have some question. What do you think? So I am keep on going. Okay. Alrighty. Completion phase with a curve turn is going to be the same thing. By the time I'm coming across, first of all, I've got that intention, that appropriate intention in the top of the turn to have, to go into the initiation with symmetry, little toe, big toe, and I'm going to go onto that a little, on the finishing phase. The main fundamental on completing a turn on the higher edge angle, that's going to be edging and pressure. And again, how do we define how, like when you talk about edging, when I look at the fundamental, of the IDP, how do you, find some edging? It's you control edging by a combination of angulation and inclination. Done. It's so simple. Let's do it. And yet, there's a lot of nuances on how to get to the edge, how to go through the shaping phase of the turn, and certainly how do you exit, that turn. And I think maybe it's a little easier for me maybe to describe the completion of the turn with on the arc, on the curve turn, because maybe I do this one maybe more than the others. But basically, when you are coming across that phase, you're going to have, again, that I'm going to connect the completion more talking about the pronation of the outside foot, which is combined with that adduction. So before it was just like, rotating. This one is more with the feet, inside, outside, where I find my feet onto placing, tipping that ski on edge with the outside foot, as well as the inside foot. but then I'm going to do a huge amount of torque with the outside leg, as well as a torque with the inside leg, being shorter to accommodate pressure with magnitude. Okay. So coming out, if it's really steep, the fall line, we're going to stay on the edges a lot longer, and the forces are a lot greater. And it's why in Taos, it is so important to be laterally balanced and laterally active to make sure that skeletically we can resist those forces. And so we may, and we have a leg which is definitely shorter than the other, but I am also alert, aware that my hip, I don't want to use the word square necessarily, but my hip also will be more parallel to my pelvis. Again, that could be up to grab, and I'm glad to also let you think about it and also share also what you think and where and how I'm coming from also as well. So that is really important to me then, to keep that. There's so many G-forces while carving, like it or not. If you tip that ski on edge and you have a nice clean arc and you leave a double track on the snow, you did a good job. And if you move your center of mass toward the inside pass of the turn, which there's a lot of, sometimes there's a lot of people sometimes who bring the center of mass to the outside of the outside leg. So after I pick and choose my edge angle with my feet, I'm moving within my skis, base of stew point, and as the turn shape developed and got completed, that angle and pressure keep on growing. If you've got any twist with your hip, you're going to break that skeletal alignment. Do you have possibly a slight lead with the inside side of the inside part of the pelvis? Possibly. Do I want to? Not necessarily. I'll try to be as parallel with my feet, with my hip as possible throughout the whole turn. If I do that, and I think that some of the videos really gonna illustrate what I'm trying to say at the moment, is then at that point, the role of the upper body, as the legs are coming around and are being displaced and coming around, you've got a huge crossover of the upper body as the end of the completion phase to be able to add that torque. And the torque is extremely strong. And as an example, if we address carve, there's also different devices, including one which is, you know how it's called, is the Carve app. I don't need to sell that device or anything like that, but as metrics, when you see me ski like under Bonanza, I'm going arc to arc, side to side. Some of the metrics then that app gives me when I'm skiing the way I'm really expressing myself, I'm going to create 2 G-forces minimum. I'm free skiing 2 G-forces. 2 G-forces, I'm 170, 340, 350, 380 pounds being resisted toward the completion of the turn. So if we are not lined up properly, if my hip and pelvis is not lined up with the alignment of my feet, and I've got too much lead with inside hip, I'm going to break that skeleton. I'm only going to have one leg to resist that 380 pound versus 2. So that's where we always in Taos, where we are conscious, then the outside leg is the controlling force of the outside ski. But if we want to create more angle and more displacement, of the skis away from a center of mass, the inside leg has to be equally active in relation to the outside. And that's going to happen a lot, after the foreline, the right line in the completion phase. So the completion phase in an arcing, carving way, to me, it's a gliding phase, because from that high edge angle, the next maybe 2 or 3 tenths, maybe 2 tenths or so, from that high edge angle, short leg, long leg, suddenly leg length is going to be very similar. I'm going to manage with the pressure, the magnitude. I have huge range of motion within my low body to be able to present the next turn, the transition onto the preparation phase. So I just want to bring to your attention the amount of torque and pressure and power that we have to deal with. And if we are not aligned properly, then we either limit it ourselves. We can carve turn doing a railroad track, but a railroad track almost could be done where the ski do not even cross the rise line. You are studying the turn by the time that the ski is about to approach the rise line, you are switching edges to the other side. So to me, it's almost not a turn. Thinking of the completion. So that would be a turn then. Well, I don't know if it's a turn. It's so open, like I almost. So what would be the definition of a railroad try? You're just tipping from one side to the other, but really without having too much edge angle and without having the time to load because you are switching to the other side right away. So it's interesting to possibly make those correlation between one, which is very down the four line, and the one that I am more interested of is to really use the design of the ski and the principle that I just told you to be able to really enjoy the benefit of what you've done in phase 1, 2, and 3 to just carry that on through the completion phase. That completion phase, yeah, could be defined as an acceleration. You feel like you are accelerating through that phase. You feel like you're almost floating. It's weightlessness. You know, that's to me. I'm jazzed when I did everything properly in the top of the turn to be able to exit and complete that turn with kind of you put your whole body and technique and strength and resistance through that turn and exit, you know, with balance and energy out of that turn. And guess what? You repeat that over and over. At the bottom of the run, I think you can call that a good run and you can be happy. That to me, that would be the difference between more rotation, rotary move in the fundamental and the lower level, and the high on the highest level, you know, fundamental being, you know, edging on how and pressure the how. So, Connor, we can maybe watch a few videos. Say it again. Sure. How many videos do you have? Okay. And do we have any water or anything like that? Is there no? Not quite. Okay. Yeah. So let's watch some videos, please. Yeah. So in those videos, I'm just gonna try to look like what mechanics or what any other skiers are trying to achieve after the skis come across the rise line. Do we have? Is it a slow-mo or is it a regular speed? Or? Yeah, no, just running normal, please. Yeah. So that was the Super G in Copper Mountain a couple of days ago, like last week. Okay, go on to the next gear, please. Next video. No. Then let's go back to Marco, please. Automat.
You want to go back?
Yeah. Let's do automat again. Copper. Yeah. Like, can you please do a slow-mo when I'm going to tell you to? What did we say?
We said
Yep. So get a super slow-mo like 25. Right there. That will be the apex of the turn. Stop right there, please. So at that point, you know, the turn is done. The turn is completing. He's not quite in the transition phase because you still see a pretty good amount of edge angle on both sides. So that to me, I could go maybe 1 or 2 frames before that. Yeah, let's see, maybe 1 or 2 frames. Let's see, go super slow. right there. Okay, so that would, the turn is done, it's completed. And what kind of strikes me, everything is symmetric. The hip is level. They still a little pinch, toward his left side. His intention, what right now, what I'm trying to bring the attendance to is like, that's a super G turn, and it's not super turny because, like right now, I don't think it's usually turny, but basically his hip is going one way, as the vision, his intention, his shoulder and sternum is looking to the apex of the new turn. And that would be where that torque that I was talking about occur. Go on to the new turn, please. He's set. You ride. That's going to be the apex of the turn. Right there. Stop right there. Thank you. So when I talk about, look at the symmetry that he has on both sides. I don't see right here, I don't see a huge lead. I look at the ski behavior. Other ski parallel, yes, they are. They've got the same edge angle for the most part. I like to think that they are. If I look at the shaft, and I don't see any tip lead. If you were to see a tip lead with that inside left leg, that would maybe indicate to me that the inside left hip is ever so slightly leading. And so to me, to illustrate what I was trying to say earlier, the hip, the knees, and the feet are on the same level. I mean, I don't think that would be right to say it's square, but it's parallel. Every plane, hip, knees, and feet, it's kind of parallel. But when you look at the upper body and look at his eyes, his head is not looking to where the skis are pointed. His vision is already, I mean, look at where the gate, look at the red gate. That's where the skis are traveling toward the red gate, but he's already looking at the exit of that red gate. So he's doing a great deal of anticipating coming out of the completion phase. He's anticipating greatly with his vision, which is, connected with his sternum and shoulder, as the lower body is going towards the top of the new turns. And that will be that separation that we want at any level. Like it's going to be maybe not as intense in a wedge turn and basic parallel turn, maybe a little bit more as the intensity or the level of the turn is, as a calf turn or railroad, like a calf turn, a high level calf turn. So that image, I think, if you can maybe even take a photo of that image on the computer, please do. That's something that I'm going to try to search to work. And you're going to say, hey, Alain, I'm not a World Cup skier. Yeah, but we still can work on the same fundamental than what those people are working. We don't ski boots flex 150 or 170. We don't ski snow as hard as they do, and we don't ski to the speed than they do. So we can certainly use some of those fundamental and principle to our own skiing. So let's do you have, I think after that, it was like free skiing, slalom free skiing, because I want to keep that. So now I don't know what that is, but so full regular speed, please. Regular speed, okay. So you've got, like he's an American. I would like to see and know who it is. That's a totally different turn. Short ski, 165. I mean, I am absolutely in awe of the simplicity of the movement, and simplicity is really hard to do. I mean, look at that. Those guys, they are warming up. And so to illustrate the phase of the turn, that fourth phase of the turn, I'm trying to say right there, okay, right there. Okay, so let's keep this one. Let's keep that guy, please. Go up a little bit. And let's do it. Yep. Keep on going. Like, let's do a super slow-mo at 0.25, please. And then it's a lot easier for me to tell you when to freeze the frame. There, right there. It's maybe not quite as obvious. You know, in all those turns, it was not quite as obvious to have the separation upper lower body. I think it's dictated by the terrain and the turn shape. You know, it's going to be tough to really see so much activation with the lower leg, you know, and having like a huge separation. But like right there, well, you know, do they have a tip lead? So the argument then I may bring to that conversation would be, if there is a little lead of the inside hip, I would agree then it could happen. If so, I don't want to favor that. But if the inside hip is ever so slightly leading, I want to make sure then it does not disturb the activation of the inside leg. Because if that hip is starting to twist, then you are losing the connectivity of that parallelism and skeletal alignment. Okay, yeah, keep on going, please. Right there, stop right there. So is maybe one frame later, right there. Yeah, someone right there. Okay, skis are pointing one way. The shoulder, that turn, maybe there's an off camber. There's a little bit more anticipation and counter rotation with the shoulder in direction of the new turn. Okay, it's clear then the legs are doing one thing as the upper body is searching for the new turn. And keep on going, please. Right there, stop right there. Yeah. Well, it's tough to say. I mean, you know, because I'm really trying to make a point. He's like, oh my gosh, look, don't tell me that the shoulder is not parallel to the hip. I mean, it looks like it is. So it's, yeah, it's, maybe it's not a good photo. Okay, keep on going, please. Right there, yeah. That I think it's due to the off camber or the slope. Keep on going, please. What other video do we have? We do have interski and we have Makela.
We got some performance turns and some short turns.
Performance and okay, yeah. Go ahead. Let's see what we have. Yeah. So that could be one of us, guys, and it should be. So that was interski. Long. I think that was. I think is Jonathan Baloo. Eh? So that would be demonstrating what is that? A long radius calf turn. Let's review that again from the top, please. Yeah, right there. Completion right there. So yeah, so right there again, the snow is really soft. A lot. I mean, those guys are great skiers. Demo team. I mean, that's they've got certainly a great understanding. They are certainly great skiers. I think it was difficult to be able to do what they wanted because the snow is so soft. But you can definitely see the fundamental then being applied. So, obviously symmetry of edge angle. Both legs are doing the same thing. As far as managing pressure, you've got a short leg, long legs, great magnitude of the lower body. And, the super short leg and the upper body shoulder, his intention, you can see then the skis are coming almost up the hill as the intention of his eyes and shoulder sternum is looking down the hill. I mean, those are great turns. I mean, as far as, he uses the carve and I don't know, if he, yeah, I would imagine he teaches also that device, I would imagine, because he has a really good IQ, and he has he definitely has a great understanding to use that calf turn, which we can dissociate a beautiful calf turn the way he does. To me, it's more like an aesthetic turn. I want to make an aesthetic turn, but a turn than he does is not a racing turn. A carving turn necessarily is not a racing turn, because, and Deb, I would like to think she could agree with me on this one, and many others, by the way, is like any racer is going to do anything possible to present their skis and bend the ski in the rise line. And you want, in a racing situation, you want to come on and off the edges as soon as you possibly can. So the phase of completion is a phase of lightness. You come off the edges really quickly. Like a calf turn, the way we do a little bit more in our level, we are hanging on a little bit more onto the completion phase. We hang on a little bit more onto that angle, that pressure, and we're still going to come out of it, but I think our turns is a little bit more delayed as far as regulating pressure compared to a World Cup skier. Are we to stop right there? Yeah. So he's about coming to his transition. Can you go like a half a frame behind, please? Right there, right there. That's the completion. The turn is done. The turn is done. The turn is completed by the time you start the new turn. But then you're going to say, well, I completed my turn, and you make 4 turns on Paderborn. They say, hey, I completed my turn. I am onto the new turn, and you make 4 turns on Paderborn. I said, okay, that's a way of doing it. But what would be more of the fundamental to do to be able to reduce that speed or to control that speed, to instead of making 4 turns on Paderborn, I want you to make 10 turns instead of 4 turns. What do you need to do? And I think the answer would be keep on pursuing edge angle, keep on moving away from your basis to support, keep on having that huge torque, upper body, lower body, to allow the ski to climb up the hill. A little bit more patient. But again, that patience comes to maybe the price of, resulting of a lot of forces through your whole body, core included, back included. But that would be an excellent demonstration onto us coming out of the honeysuckle, porcupine, all the slope that we have. That would be a great presentation, a great completion to allow that new presentation of the new turn. Yep.
Short turns maybe, or do you want to see?
Let's see. Yeah, let's keep on doing. That's a demo team. Keep on doing on. Oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah, please. Yeah. Yeah, please. I think Michaela is teasing everybody, because she wins the first run by only 2,800 of a second. So all the other girls is, oh my gosh, I think I've got a shot. And then when the conditions are rough, you've got ruts, they reverse the top 30, and you've got an arena which is really difficult to manage, Michaela Schifrin will win by 1.3 seconds, and then she's going to win for a total of 1.7 seconds in copper. Yeah, it's just amazing the way, the dominant that she has this year in slalom. All right. Well, it's going to be tough for me to say anything. That young lady, she's just so beautiful to watch, so fluid. Okay, let's pick a turn. Okay, right there. Yeah. Skis are pointing one way, her vision is going the other way, huge torque. Sometime in some description, is in some of our fundamental, is like the ski must stay on the snow. when you look at every slalom turn, or even more in GS turn, at every transition, the skier of the snow. And so to me, it's like, I want to be that person. What do they feel to be a pop, some air, some energy of the snow at the transition? Some of I don't say babbling, but some of my observation this year, possibly more than any other year, is that in the past they used the stivet, to manage, the carve, the controlling. Now I feel like they are. Oh, and that's going to go a little bit onto what I'm trying to do with you guys. They're past the rise line. They may hang on a little bit more. And it's just like that bow is being loaded. They hang on a little bit more. They are very patient before they complete their turn and switch onto the other one. And in GS, like in Zolden, some stivet, they may not be the fastest, but some of the one who can time that the regulation of pressure, high edge angle and pressure and patience, they will literally come off the snow and redirect. The rotation is happening in the air. And when they land, they don't stivet anymore because they were so patient with the previous turn, then the landing is already to the rise line. So they stay within that angle, and then they just apply the resistance with a huge angle of that inside leg, supination, pronation, supination, huge alignment with the lower leg to resist those forces. And when I hate to say, when you look at our boy, River Radimus, sometimes he's pinching the line and it's all over the outside foot, but then the alignment of the inside leg is such that sometimes he's still resting on the inside leg, and that suddenly the outside ski is going to chatter and is not going to be able to maintain the line then other are already gone away from. So it's really interesting. And he's World Cupper. He was fourth at the Olympics 4 years ago. So it's funny because with Radamis, I see some greatness where he has some discipline, and sometimes when there's a turn which is going to be a little bit more offset than the other, he may revert possibly a little bit of something that he used to do that may not be what needs to be applied nowadays. Up for grab, up for discussion. As far as Michael Schifrin, it's some controversy. You need to be forward on top of the turn. I mean, look at that. She's sitting back. Because she's absorbing, she's forward because I know the tip fib there's a great contact in the tip fib. And even though she's kind of doing that avalement, which is the form of managing pressure and magnitude, it's to me, it's make me smile, to see that kind of, if you isolate that photo, you say, well, she's kind of sitting back because she's literally sitting, but actually she's usually forward. She's carrying that momentum from one turn to the other. And if you want to go like one more frame, please, Connor, right there. Okay. So there's enough torque then in that phase of lightness when she, with that proper anticipation with the upper body, after that phase of lightning, the skis are already on edge, ready to start the new turn. So the importance of the completion of the turn is going to dictate how you're going to start the new turn. So when you look at it, you've got 4 phases, but all the phases are linked to one another. You cannot really dissociate one phase versus the other. We need to make a beautiful, fluid turn from one side to the other, trying to kind of stick with the structure and the fundamentals that I'm trying to portray to you. That's about it as far as video. Can we please watch that video of Michaela top to bottom? Just for the eyes, it's just too beautiful. And that's very inspiring. From the top, please. Normal speed. And normal speed, yeah.
Yeah.
And here, if we go. Oh, yeah. I mean, that is. No, 1.57. Here we go. What was it? 104? 104 wins, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all right.
Amazing.
We have short turns from.
No, that's okay. I'm good. Yeah. Let's keep that. Yeah. No, I wouldn't mind to maybe ask a few questions if people have some. So here we go. Yeah, do I have an audio? Is it good?
We should.
Well, I'll start, Alain, and I'll say, well,
I cannot almost hear. Just a second,
Oh.
Deb.
Try again.
okay, so test, 1, 2, 3. Can you hear
No.
me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Go?
here we go.
Okay.
Thank you.
You can hear me. Okay. I just want to start by saying, well done, Alain. I mean, I'm sitting here and thinking there's nobody else I'd rather be listening to right now as we're starting the season. I mean, you're just getting better and better. And I know you put a lot of thought into that. And I'm just starting the season, and your thoughts just jumpstart the season. Really, really sophisticated stuff, very sophisticated stuff. And it's forward thinking. It's not where a lot of other people are at. I love what you're talking about in terms of the hips. There's just been this, I don't know, a default place that so many people go to with the hips being a part of the upper body. And that certainly is not how I've been thinking about it. I'd say for 15 years, being on catwalks and thinking of the power that can come out of the hip. And that is a squarer hip. And so thinking about those hips, and being careful that we're not applying one idea to absolutely everything necessarily. I mean, we're more flexible than that. We're more savvy than that. We're more sophisticated than that to understand situations, and different situations are going to call on different things. But that force, that strength and alignment with the hips, the way you're talking about it here, is powerful. I love it. Really awesome. And that's all I'll say for now, but I'll see you tomorrow evening. And
Oh, wow. Tomorrow?
I drive in
Oh, wow.
tomorrow,
Gosh, yeah.
Friday.
It's coming. Yeah.
Yeah. And really, really good stuff, Alain. Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you. Cannot wait also to be on the hill, because I've got so many more to express concern. And I want also confirmation also, to make sure then, as a team, we are also agreeing on some of the lead that I'm giving you guys. But yeah, cannot wait to ski together and share that with our ski school and also with our guests. Yeah. Anybody else? Irène, you've got something.
Oh non, je suis d'accord.
Ça va?
Tu
D'accord.
m'entends?
Tu t'endormais. Oui, je t'entends.
Non, je m'endors pas du tout.
D'accord,
Non,
d'accord, c'est bon. C'est bon. D'accord. Yeah. So to me, I was thinking also, we've been the #1 ski school in the country for 2 years. Okay, good job, them. You know, it's I mean, I'd like to think it's also a little bit on how we are possibly thinking, or maybe the way we are presenting the information, sharing the information to our guests, and for our guests also to feel a certain way than they may not have felt before. And so to me, like, okay, we're going to talk about that phase of the term, the completion phase of the term for this year. That is a focus, but as the philosophy, it is so crucial for me to move and totally pursue the activity of the inside leg based also on that alignment of the hip. And what else? Oh, now I'm having a brain something. And having the inside leg is the limiting factor of controlling that edge angle. And when I went up north in, what was it, November? To me, it's too simplified to think then I'm just angulating, and I committed edge angle with angulation and inclination. I don't even think of that. I think of my feet. After I just picked up my desired edge angle with my feet inside outside equally, then I'm going to try to have that hip label and not lead with inside hip, to not have any tip lead, to have that integrity of my stance. And so to me, it's like we've got that focal point, which is the completion, but then Taos, we've got how far can we move that center of mass inward in relation to the path of the turn, still within balance. I don't want to hear some Rocky Mountain trainer, and I know maybe 2 or 3 is going to present themselves. Oh, Alain, I failed because they didn't like the way I was too high, high edge angle, but I was too high. I was too much on the edge. Good skiing is good skiing. I can call you to say, you know what? Yes, you've got a high edge angle, but you went too far to the inside, to the fact that you were off balance, because at that point you were inclinating, and that's not functional. So I like to think then we can do what we do in Taos, which is kind of the continuity of the legacy of Jean Maillet, by the way. I was so fortunate, and many of us, to be able to be along for me personally for 32 years out of 34. And to me, it's like, this is a company, it's kind of the evolution of what he tried to maybe to teach us all those years. Because I feel like up north, and I don't want to point fingers, they may not be able to do what we do, but we can do what we do and do what they are doing, if you know what I mean. So it's a huge deal for me for the aesthetic and for the ski performance, to be able to see a great dissociation of having the feet kind of displayed from one side to the other. It's so graceful and so powerful. So philosophy of those 2 points and the focal point for on that 4th phase. That would be what I want to concentrate. Yeah.
Alain, we're able to do what they do up north. We're able to do what they talk about and all that sort of stuff. But with you, and with your presentation, leadership, passion about it, I mean, skiing. Skiing the way they do not know skiing up north, those trainers. I mean, there are very few people that do, and I like to say at that cellular level. And that, so you're just able to take it to a whole nother level. It's a whole nother gear that this ski school has. I mean, let's say everybody else has 4 gears, And, you know, this is sixth gear. This is high level sixth gear stuff, grappling with all of this. But it gets back to simplicity, really. That the images that you showed us when we were watching those World Cupper slaloms, free skiing, and you said, "Oh my gosh, that looks so simple." Yet it's tough. You know, it's tough to. It's like it's tough to move so cleanly and efficiently without noise, without extra movement. So anyway, we're just at, it's another gear here, which is really inspirational and exciting.
Good. Okay.
I want to second that. I started snowboarding at Taos as a teacher, and you guys made me really excited to ski, and hearing that talk and watching it and seeing the details of it just made me excited. It's so fun. It brings the fun into it. It's like, wow, I thought it was fun to snowboard as a kid. And then you see a really simple, well done, extremely efficient, awesome turn executed perfectly, like you or Jean or Deb or a lot of you instructors at Taos can do. So many of you are my heroes for just skiing gracefully for a really long time. And it'll make a kid want to go from snowboarding to skiing because it's that cool. So thank you. Super excited for the season and really good talk. I'm going to finish my turns.
Yeah, I mean, thinking a little bit about Jean, the technique is a good thing. I think we need to understand how the ski are supposed to work, how we can place our body in a way that we are efficient. But to me, that structure that I talked about, that give me the freedom of expression. And I don't know how to say it, you know, maybe any better than that, is I own all those skills then we like to promote in Taos. And those skills make me be centered, make me live in the moment, make me anticipate what's ahead of me. It just makes me enjoy and connect it's kind of my mind and body experience in the surrounding of Taos, which is surreal, you know, like it's so inspirational and spiritual in so many ways. So that may be a little bit of Jean's philosophy, but at the end, when all that structure is in place, to me is like I'm free to execute any turns at any speed, either low, slow, or high, any turns either a little bit more open or a little bit more completed. I can execute turn on different snow conditions, either soft or hard, because I've got all the tools to be able to enjoy, you know, the surrounding. And you know, that type of form of expression